Hey guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. My dog's having a fit in the background, so just ignore her. She's okay. There's just somebody outside. She's protecting me. She's only this big, but she's protecting me. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna blame chat because I'm late, but really I was just here, just sitting, waiting for nothing because it already passed. Hi Donald. Hi Mel. Whew. We had this band in tonight. And I can't even talk anymore because I had so much fun. It was the best night. We had this band in tonight that played nothing but 90s. So we had Green Day and Nirvana, and it was great. It was such a great night tonight. Hi, Nays. I haven't seen you for a while, Nays. Hi. Hi, Frauditor. Hi, Deborah Jean. Man, everybody's here this morning. So, Fozzie gave an update on CRD. CRD's fine. Hi, Elizabeth. CRD found a hotel. And doesn't know when the power is going to be back on. So fingers crossed, you know, get CRD back home. But okay, I got some stuff for you today somewhere on my computer. Let's see. All right, let's just go. Let's ease into it. Let's just ease into it nice and easy with a short 1-minute clip. And this is pretty much how the day is going to go.
Nothing, she needs to just leave. All right, are you Miss James?
Yes, I am.
All right, Miss James, you've been charged with theft by taking 2 counts. It's 2,000 on one and 1,000 on the second one. Your preliminary hearing date is on June the 12th, and I've appointed an attorney to assist you. Do you have any questions?
Oh, yes. I was accused of stealing an officer's phone at an 8th grade graduation, and they broke into a car in the parking lot and took the phones out of the car, and I don't even own a vehicle.
Yeah, so they said the phones were in your purse, inside of the vehicle, in your purse, is what the allegation was.
My purse got left out.
Hey, Miss James.
And the officer said he was going to take
Miss James,
Okay.
if you talk over me, it's not going to help you.
Okay.
I'm trying to explain to you it's an allegation. I don't know if it's true. Listen, see, this is all right. Thank you. Take care. Good luck. I'm not gonna keep arguing with nobody.
I'm not going to keep arguing with nobody. Just not. It's over. Goodbye. I haven't been in Michigan in a while. So I went to Michigan for a little bit today after work. And then we go to Colorado. So if you've seen my channel before, every once in a while I play this outdoor court where they're outdoors. All right. And Judge Khan is in the courtroom. And they're zoomed in from I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive it's in front of the courthouse. And you can go there in Colorado. I think in Denver. I think. Hi, Megadeth. You can go there and they have everything set up for you. They have where you can get an ID, where you can get food stamps, clothes, housing, jobs, anything you might need. They also have court there. And when you hear Chris Reynolds talk in court, like when we see these clips, when they're in jail and they're in jail for camping or something stupid like that. And Chris is like, look, we don't want to handle this with you in jail. You know, come to, I can't remember what it's called now, but whatever this outdoor area is, hopefully somebody remembers and puts it in chat and saves me. But hi, Debbie. I missed what? Oh, hold on. I got to pronounce this. Oh, you're from Denmark. My best friend lives in Denmark. So is it Vicent Magni? No, I know it's not. But now that's how you are in my head forever. So you don't even have. Hi, Carolyn. So they have this outdoor court, and I'm going to stop it in the middle to show you like so we hear in the clips how they talk about Nat all the time, or Niat. Is it Niat or Nat? I think it's Niat. And he's really helpful. He gets everybody housing and things like that. And we're gonna see the other guy that we don't hardly ever see, but he's like the force behind everything, and he works so hard. Hi, Lisi. Hi, Ardo. Oh my goodness. That's what I wanted to start with, but then I was late and I forgot. Guys, everybody, it's Kelly's birthday. It's Kelly's birthday today. So just leave a comment. Please, 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 please. Please leave a comment on this video. Please. I'm begging you, please. Wish her a happy birthday. I want her to get 1,000 happy birthdays. Please, please, please. Imagine if you got 1,000 happy birthdays. So go into this comment section of this video and leave her a happy birthday. Or, even a don't have a happy birthday, whatever. That'll still make her feel good. Hi, HRH. All right, let's go to Colorado. Let's go to Judge Khan, which I started a rumor, remember, that was leaving, but he's still here. I don't know if he's leaving. I just don't know. But let's go see a nice hippie. We love hippies.
Make sure we take care of as many things as we can. Okay.
Grateful Dead hat,
So you're
guys.
pretty sure I've never done the rest. That's pretty good. I've never been arrested, but I've definitely had some.
Man, I've been home.
Chris, I'm looking at the wrong one. Hang on a second. Chris, to answer your question, first of all, the ticket that was issued this morning does end in 057 for Mr. Eisenhart. I'm going to also look up his cases just to make sure we don't have anything else for him in municipal court, and perhaps a staff member can check and make sure he doesn't have anything in other courts. I think we've already done
There's
that.
nothing else open in full court. We had a ticket in 2023 that's closed.
Great. Thank you for that.
This ticket that Mr. Eisenhart here got just this morning, it's a tent ticket. He's been in very close communication and been working with Tim from Be There. And we saw him kind of like check in with Tim this morning and get his mail. And because he's very, very close to housing and is in such good communication with Tim, once a new housing development opens up in Longmont that's for 55 and up individuals, Mr. Eisenhart believes he has a spot there. And so because he's done that really good work, he's already earned dismissal of this ticket. So it'd be case management through Be There. I would characterize the condition.
Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate it, Chris. And that's just great to hear, Mr. Eisenhart. I imagine it's getting very difficult to live out on the streets. I'm hopeful that this will be soon for you.
Actually, sir, I prefer living out there, but the shelter's a little bit too much. I lived there for a year, and I just can't wake up and go to bed at night, It's very difficult. It really ruins on my spirits and my energy, I'm an old hippie. I love the world, you know what I mean? I love the earth. I don't mind being out there at all, and
Okay.
I could do
Well, I understand that. Sometimes as you get older, your body doesn't do as well outside. At least for me, when I go camping.
I feel that, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not walking up mountains anymore.
Yeah. No, I'm getting to that same place. When I go camping, I need a little more underneath me to sleep outside. But I appreciate the being in the outdoors, and I understand why you prefer that. But I'm glad you've done what you needed to do to keep on track here, because of course what we're trying to avoid is having
all the Kellys.
A large number of people that are camping within the city limits and in places where it might impact others' ability to do things. So that's the goal.
I totally understand.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your efforts here. Chris is going to be dismissing your case. I'll put the information in the system, and then later on today, he'll actually send a motion to dismiss it. I'll execute the sign, and then you won't have that case to worry about.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I wish you peace and love.
Thank you. You be well, Mr. Eisenhower. Take care.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I'm gonna give this back to you. You can just, do whatever you'd like with it. Just keep doing what you're doing, working with him. Because you're right, if you keep living outside, you're gonna keep getting tickets. And when did you stop seeing that?
About 2 months. April 21st. I got here April 21st last year.
And there he is. That's the guy behind it all. And I mean, they do a lot. He does a lot. Just so you know, this guy who's the court reporter, he's the prosecutor. He's the prosecutor. He doesn't look like it, he doesn't act like it, except for a Rolo. He acts like it for a Rolo, but he's the prosecutor. And this guy behind him, he sets all this up with Niet. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he works hard. They work hard there to help in Boulder. But okay, so that's over.
Stopped at April 21st.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is, not to do a winter outside here. Because it sounds like you might have been at the shelter during the worst part of the winter, this last one. And we can just keep that going.
I've done one there in Houston.
Well, that's a lot.
So all these people are standing in different lines. There's coffee, there's clothing, there's housing, there's to get your social security card or your ID or whatever you need. It's all right here in front of the courthouse. And they rarely send people to jail from this part. Hi, Rebecca. So people feel safe coming and taking care of a parking ticket, taking care of a bench warrant. Like if you have a bench warrant and you come here, they squash the warrant. So, okay. Now we're going to go to the other side of the spectrum. I mean, it still ends up okay, but it's not peace and love. We're not entering peace and love. We're entering, daddy giving you a lecture. Here we go. Vincent, no, there's no N. Vicent, Magni, I need a nickname because I can't do that. Magni I can handle. So I'm from now on, you're Magni. I can't remember. It's something with school. So there's Copenhagen, and it's just like a little bit away from Copenhagen. And it starts with an S. And I think there's a school in it somewhere, but not, I think it's SKOL, but not SCHOLOL. So hi, Mark. But I can't remember exactly what town it is.
Brian Strange? Yes, sir. Mr. Strange, you were convicted here for burglary in the first degree, possession of methamphetamine, and possession of drug-related objects back in December of 2021. Is that right? Yes, sir. You were sentenced under the First Offender Act, 10 years probation subject to RSAT, plus 3 years on possession of methamphetamine charge and 12 months on the count 3. You now allege that you have violated the terms and conditions of your probation by failure to report to your probation officer as directed. And after you got out of RSAT, apparently you failed to complete the SAS, which is the aftercare portion of RSAT. Yes, sir. You tested positive for methamphetamine 2 times. That was in September, apparently, July and September. Why am I just now hearing about this, Mark?
You have been supervised by another
Bullock
county.
And that explains why I don't get the information. Anyway, you're here today with your attorney, Ms. Carr. Ms. Carr, what is your announcement?
It's an admit and agree, Your Honor.
Your lawyer said.
I got called out in front of everybody. Yes, I was late for work yesterday, but only by an hour. I overslept. Well, I didn't oversleep. I did oversleep. I was awake. I was wide awake and I was ready. And then I don't know. That doesn't sound quite right. Something's off about that. I don't think it's that. Anyway, I was up. I was ready. I had my phone in my hand and I thought, you know what? I could just close my eyes for another minute. I have an alarm going off. My phone is in my hand. And then I did not hear the alarm or wake up or hear the phone calls that came after it. But my son woke me up and I got to work and everything was fine. And then I had the greatest night.
As you wish to admit these allegations, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What's the recommendation? What have y'all talked about?
Your Honor, after conferring with his probation officer, we believe that the best thing in this case is to give him credit for time served, which I believe is over 30 days, and then put him back in the aftercare program. And Sherrod did say that if he tested positive again, he would immediately be taken into custody.
But he'll be returning to aftercare in Bullock County because this was basically a pickup for a dirty screening.
And Your Honor, I think it was a little miscommunication with the reporting thing. He was thinking one thing, but they sent the case back to us, and I don't know if they informed him to report back to us. So it was a breakdown in communication in that. That's why we felt that it's the best option is the city give Mr. Strange another opportunity. Because he had left those father screen, Your Honor. He did have some clean ones thereafter, so we took all that into consideration.
And he's already completed RSAT.
I know.
Okay.
But it didn't work.
Well, but this is the aftercare, and so he's trying to get through that. And
He's got, he owes $2,144 in fines and fees and has not made a single payment in 2 years.
I do have him working with Jonathan Brady out of Millen. And he now has a job and his wife is here. If you'd like to hear from them, my understanding is that he was starting to work and can start making these payments with the fines and
I want to
fees.
pay it off.
And he hasn't made any, according to this, he has not made a single payment in 2 years.
Let me just ask.
Now, I realize that 9 months he was in RSAT, but
Do y'all have the means to pay? You said you wanted to pay it off, but do you?
That's what we was waiting on. We was waiting on Officer Fan out of Bullock County to send me to contact us for the ballots on it for be paid off from my boss man, and he never contacted us
you're
about.
supposed to make monthly payments.
Right. But I was wanting to pay the court fines off, which I still want to do once I get back to work. I want to pay that off and continue my probation fees till.
Mr. Strange, let me ask you. We invested a lot of money in you to go to RSAT for 9 months, right?
Yes, sir.
State of Georgia fed you 3 meals a day, gave you somewhere to live, gave you drug and alcohol counseling, gave you all kind of treatment over a period of 9 months. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Then you get out and you go back to using methamphetamine. Why?
Where I was working at before, with Lee Johnson, there in Millen, when I went back straight out of RSAT, I was doing SAS, and I was doing good, but there was a couple of guys there. It was like they told me in RSAT, that it was going to be tough getting back around the wrong environment, which didn't know at the time was at my job. But it was pushed on around me, not pushed on me, pushed around me. And it hit the weak point that I failed to, do, and then I got talked into that. But anyhow, after that last drug screen that I failed, I quit that job simply because me and my wife got custody over our grandson, and I needed to straighten up because of having custody over him, because my wife needs me to work, be there to work and do the bills and all. And after that last drug screen, I had tested negative for a couple of them there afterwards because I turned myself into an outpatient thing there in Statesboro. I can't think of the name of it, but it's right on Zetter Road coming into Statesboro. But, I went up there 3 times. I seen the doctor, the nurse, and all that. They said, we're going to contact you to start your outpatient with us. And they never contacted me. But I've been straight ever since. Simply because I got to be straight in order to keep custody over our grandson. And my wife needs me really bad.
You need to, every time somebody offers you some meth or cocaine or any of that stuff, you need to think about that instead of.
Well, at the time, Your Honor, I wasn't thinking about that because we didn't have all this coming up on us. But like I said, I quit that job and went to work with Jonathan Brady there in Millen, and I've been staying straight. He makes sure I stay straight, and that's where Officer Finn verified where I worked, and that's the last I seen him. I had never heard from him no more. I didn't know they turned it back over to Jefferson County.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
You stay in touch with Mr. Sherrod.
I will with Mr. Sherrod.
And we just don't it just gets too confusing and too much miscommunication when you transfer them back and forth and all that. All right, Mr. Strange, I'm going, this is tough for me. I'm going to tell you.
I understand, sir.
Usually a first-degree burglary, you go to prison for 3 years right then. That's what usually happens. Somebody gets a first-degree burglary in my courtroom is you get 3 years in prison right then.
Yes, sir.
We gave you probation and drug treatment. And then you show your appreciation by going back out there and using drugs again. That's not very respectful.
That's the reason I had to get away from that because
you on a short string.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I'll prepare the order and I'll sign it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm up. When the video stops, that means I have to work. I have to do something. I forgot. I was watching chat and watching the video and watching chat, clicking buttons. Okay. So, this next one, we're going to Battle Creek. And I'm just, like, it's a traffic ticket. It's a traffic ticket where the person is clearly guilty. And I just hope that someday I have someone who fights this hard for me for a traffic ticket.
And I appreciate that, Ms. Carmen.
Absolutely. All right. Of the other two, which would you like to take next, Mr. Anderson?
We can take Riley Carlson.
All right. And I will note I did receive the materials you submitted regarding the radar, LiDAR. That I received that packet of materials, so I just wanted to confirm for you that I have reviewed it. If you have specific pages or items you would like me to specifically review within the packet, I'll just note for the record it was hefty. And so if you'd like me to specifically reference something, I would appreciate a page or a point to the citation.
I can make it extremely easy for you, Judge. If you look at the face of the submission supporting documents, I actually, knowing that it's very lengthy, I have laid out the different pages. LiDAR instruction manual function tests, it says, see page 63. Between pages 63 and 67, it goes through the different tests that are required in order to test the device. The light test is referenced on page 65. This test does not indicate that it was performed. The internal test number 2, which is the internal self-diagnostic test, is listed on page 66. That was specified that it was performed. Test 3, the scope and heads-up display on page 67, it was performed. Test 4, however, the range test, also known as a fixed distance check, that one is on page 67. That was not performed. The test number 5, however, another external one is a differential or delta distance check referenced on page 67. That one was performed. I also provided another exhibit other than that manual that indicates the records custodian for the Battleground Police Department confirmed the adoption and use of the LiDAR NHTSA manual, which this is. This is the manual that they confirmed in that email chain as well.
All right. If I may here, maybe I jumped the gun, but let me go ahead and read this report into the record since we're proceeding on a contested hearing, and I'll note you've made the argument, Mr. Anderson, then I'll come back to you if you need to make additional argument before turning to Ms. Carmi. But just so we can keep the record clear here, I will note that it indicates here, I certify or declare under the penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington, and that I certify that I have been trained in the operations and testing of the Laser Technology Incorporated LTI True Speed S Speed Distance Measuring Device with a serial number TJ003453 by the Battleground Police Department. I also certify that I personally tested the LiDAR unit using internal standard checks, the heads-up display, HUD aiming, reticule alignment check, and delta distance check at 100 and 150 feet during the same shift before and after the issuance of this notice of infraction. The LiDAR passed the test and was found to be functioning properly both times. I was on patrol on the 20th day of February 2024 in the city of Battleground, County of Clark, and state of Washington. I was parked near the 10800 block of Northeast 239th Street when I observed the listed vehicle traveling west on Northeast 239th Street. The listed vehicle appeared to be traveling at a rate of speed higher than the posted 20-mile-per-hour school zone limit, which I observed to be posted near the 10100 block of Northeast 239th, the 2100 block of Southwest 20th Avenue, and the 1400 block of Northwest 20th Avenue. I confirmed all flashing amber yellow lights were on, working, indicating an active school speed zone limit. I activated the LiDAR on continuous mode and placed the HUD aiming reticule on the listed vehicle until I heard the target acquisition tone. I observed a digital reading of 30 miles per hour, 222.8 feet. The digital reading was consistent with my visual estimation of the listed vehicle's true speed. There were no objects or obstructions between the LiDAR unit and the listed vehicle. I am absolutely certain the LiDAR reading was from the listed vehicle. I stopped the vehicle and contacted the listed driver, who was identified via Washington driver's license photograph. The listed driver was notified of the reason for the stop and did not make any comments. I issued the driver a sector infraction for speeding 10 miles per hour over the posted 20-mile-per-hour school zone limit. I explained the infraction to the driver and asked if there were any questions. The driver affirmed they understood and did not have any questions. I gave the listed driver a verbal warning for not having a valid insurance card in the vehicle, and the information contained in and attached to the citation notice of infraction is incorporated by reference into this report, certified under penalty of perjury and signed by Law Enforcement Officer Jeffrey Carbonting Raphael. All right, thank you, Mr. Anderson. Sorry about.
Yeah, it's a traffic ticket. And he sent her 65 pages of discovery.
Going a little bit out of order there, but turning back to you, any additional argument, Mr. Anderson, on your position?
Yes, Your Honor. It's important to note on page 63 of the NHTSA LiDAR manual. This is the manual parses out different categories. There's 3 categories. There's a light test, then there's internal testing and external testing. I see it often where an officer will indicate they performed the internal test and the external testing, or just internal testing. They list out the 3 external tests. The issue is in this, a light test is neither an internal or external test, meaning that it was not performed. It is not mentioned anywhere within the document whatsoever that the officer wrote. And again, the manual itself indicates you're supposed to perform these tests. Blatantly, that's what it is. It's been adopted by the Battleground Police Department. So that's my argument.
Okay, guys. And now Cammie gets to talk. And Cammie always wins. You know that.
All right, so if I can just clarify to make sure I understand, Mr. Anderson, you're indicating the internal and the external standards checks were done, but not the light test. And so that's the issue that you believe is that because the light test was not completed, that it's not sufficient proper protocol to confirm the speed measuring device?
Yes and no, Your Honor. The internal test, which is the internal self-diagnostic test, detailed on page 66, that was done. 2 of the 3 external tests are indicated they were done. However, the range test or the fixed distance check was not performed, or at least not indicated as performed. And that's the second test listed in the manual as for external testing, as well as on my submission supporting documents cover page. So there'd be no fixed distance check or range test. It's used interchangeably, and also no light test as well. So 2 out of 5 are missing.
All right. Ms. Carmi, your position?
Yeah, Your Honor, I guess looking at this, there is a statement. I mean, this is consistent with pretty much every speeding ticket we get that they used, they personally tested it using the internal standard checks. That is plural, not singular. The heads-up display alignment check and the delta distance check during the same shift before and after it passed the test and was found to be functioning properly. That indication is also supported, the proper functioning is also supported by the fact that the visual estimation of speed was identical to what was found on LiDAR. So regardless of maybe parsing through words, I mean, I don't think the statute requires that any specific words be used. The officers indicating that all function tests were passed. There's other indications of reliability. So more probably than not, it does appear that this infraction did occur.
All right, Mr. Anderson, any response? I think maybe specifically also to the statement mentioned about there being internal standard checks, plural, that were referenced by the officer in their report.
Yes. Cammie is sometimes a magistrate and an attorney. Hi, Lucy.
Your Honor, even if we go with the internal and the external, we're done. To read this off, the LiDAR operate, this is slide 62 on, it's page 65. It indicates directly under the portion labeled slide to 60.
Kelly, I swear that's exactly what I thought. When I first saw it, I thought he was a soft-sit, or minimum, I thought he was pro se, and he was just trying to fight his traffic ticket. No. This person got a lawyer to fight this traffic ticket like this. This is crazy.
62. It's the light segment indicator test. The LiDAR operator will perform a light test to ensure that all the individual light segments and indicators are functioning properly. If any LiDAR device fails to perform the light test as required by manufacturer specifications, or if any lighting segment is not functioning properly, the LiDAR device should be removed from service until repaired. The issue is, without doing that, we don't know if the device should even be in service in the first place. This is a manufacturer specification is what it's indicating.
Brief response, just as it relates to that specific issue of the light test.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue I guess I have is that there were multiple tests done to confirm that it was functioning properly. The officer's testimony is it passed the test. Again, plural, was found to be functioning properly. He's indicated he's been trained in the operations and testing of this speed measuring device. So I think absent there being some evidence that this in fact was not functioning properly, it all goes to the weight of the evidence here. And again, more probably than not appears that the infraction did occur given the testing and then also the exact estimation with his visual estimation of speed.
All right, Mr. Anderson, I'll let you have the last word. It's your motion. If you have anything additional.
Indicated that several tests were done. It doesn't really indicate that he performed the tests that weren't done. Blatantly, before we can even get this thing into the field, it has to pass a light test. I've had multiple times where light tests failed. Bottom line, we see oftentimes.
Hold on, I'm going to object.
I can strike that.
Well,
yeah, we'll go ahead and strike that. I understand, Mr. Anderson, where you're coming from, and I understand your position, Ms. Carmi. That will not be considered as part of this ruling, but go ahead, Mr. Anderson.
With what Ms. Carmi stated previously, that this is language we see often. To that same vein, we also see the range test cited often as well.
All right, thank you both for your argument. I do think this is an important issue to review. After reviewing all of the evidence presented and argument by counsels, I am finding that it is more likely than not that this infraction was committed. I am finding that the tests, the internal standard tests were done, even if there's no indication that the light test was not done. It's just not included in here to say that it was completed. Even in the event that it was not completed, there is no indication that it was not functioning properly, as the officer observed the defendant driving in the school zone at an estimated speed of about 30 miles an hour over the speed limit, and that was consistent with the reading. So I am finding, based on the totality of the circumstances, it is more likely than not that this infraction was committed. The amount is $243. Mr. Anderson, is 30 days enough time for your client to pay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, $243. We'll make that due June 17th, 2024.
All right, they're just finishing up the boring part. But look at this courtroom, guys. I didn't notice this before. I never noticed this before, but it looks like that whole back wall. So you see the judge in the top left. Well, right below her, it looks like that whole back wall is just one great big window. And there's like, I don't know, a forest behind there. I don't even know. And then Carmi has a big windows besides her too. That looks like a pretty decent courtroom. That looks fine to get charged $243 in, plus the lawyer fee of what, $5,000? I don't know. If it's 65 pages and they charge $100 per page, well, I mean, yeah. See, Mike, you're right. That's why this all went down like it was. They were doing 30 over in a school zone. So, they deserve to get a bad ticket for that. And actually, $243 is nothing. That's not a high ticket. I would I would too, Carolyn. I was looking at that. So as we went through this docket, like the clouds were moving in. Now it's all cloudy behind Carmi, but it was getting cloudy, and then the sky was completely blue and everything. And behind that window behind looked gorgeous. It was just gorgeous. So if I ever get arrested, it's gonna be in Washington because then I won't go to jail. But if I ever get arrested, I would want to be arrested here. I don't know, Sarah. You think? Okay. All right. That's a good point. I don't know though. Sarah says, I think It has to be family friend for a lawyer, or you could not hire someone for this. I mean, I just think that they paid a lot of money to get out of this ticket, and they're still getting a ticket. Dirty Sanchez. It'll go fine. Listen, pineapple, Canadian bacon, Thai chili. It's so good. It's just so good. All right. Now I'm going to do something else. Okay. Now we're going to go to, oh, this is Ohio, isn't it? I think it's Ohio. I'm like 92% sure, 92.6% sure it's Ohio. Hi, Mel. Welcome. You have butterflies. I love those. We're gonna go to O'Donnell because we need to get yelled at a little bit for doing what we do. Yes, this is Ohio. Here we go.
Do?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's your plea to that charge?
Guilty.
And I'll accept your guilty plea and find you guilty. Mr. Fatika?
Your Honor, Mr. Walker acknowledges that he has not done well on probation. He does have while testing positive for cocaine or for marijuana.
I can't help myself. Let's see how this goes. You ready? Man, there's a lot of Mels in here. Everybody should go call up any of their friends named Mel and invite them to chat. For anybody who doesn't know why that's not hilarious, that is exactly the words I used to get someone stuck at Sarah for 14 days.
He feels like he needs treatment for a cocaine addiction. Marijuana stemmed from a birthday celebration, which he understands he used very poor judgment for. He had spent a substantial time at the CBCF in Cuyahoga County. He didn't complete the program, but he was there for a while. We ask you that you consider these factors and continue on community control sanctions with treatment.
Well, if he needs treatment, why doesn't he get treatment?
Cannot.
I mean, you got. I sentenced you in November of 21 I sent you to the jail treatment program. Did you complete that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And as you know, soon as like within 30 days of my release, no, within 90 days of my release from the jail treatment program, I retested positive for cocaine, and that's when I was on the run until I got caught up in Cuyahoga County. Then I came back after all of the CBCF stuff, which I didn't complete, but I was only 7 days away from completing. And
okay, why didn't you complete it?
I had there was a situation where some K2 or something. I didn't get caught with it. It was like, it was found in the bathroom. Everybody in the bathroom got sent back.
Well, you tested positive for marijuana also, right?
Yes. Okay. And like I said last time, I don't have a marijuana problem. It was
you do have a marijuana problem because you keep using marijuana.
Yes.
So you have a problem because yes. Your conditions, I don't think you care about any of this stuff. I think you've been going to court multiple times since you were a juvenile. You started right off the bat as an adult. And after you were here, you picked up more charges. And you haven't done anything. You haven't done anything. So you tell me you don't have a problem with marijuana, then why do you keep using it?
Yes, I do keep using it. I say I didn't have a problem because it wasn't like I was just out using marijuana. It was literally my birthday, which I know is not an excuse. I was around family who I haven't seen in years. I literally haven't had a birthday home free, not on the run since 2016. Had people flying in from Florida, South Carolina, like, which all I know is not an excuse. But I'm saying that I don't have a problem because I know it will be nothing for me not to use while on probation, because I never had tested for marijuana on probation. It's always been cocaine. I've kicked my cocaine addiction.
Well, so you can use marijuana.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But,
No,
but you can't use cocaine because you're addicted to that.
no, I've tried so hard to kick cocaine. I'm so proud of where I'm at. My whole family is so proud of how far I came from the cocaine. So I feel like that'd just be an embarrassment going back to that. I'm not saying that using marijuana and keep coming to jail is not an embarrassment to my family. I just feel like I won't have a problem.
So you were here in March, right?
Yes.
I sentenced you in March.
And my birthday was a week after.
Okay, did you?
The day before.
So what did you do with more counseling?
More counseling. That's where I got tested positive for the cocaine.
I'm losing track of you because you don't show up. You show up. You cocaine. You marijuana.
This is my first time testing for marijuana.
Why were you? Why were you in that McDonald Center back in late 23 and early 24? Who sent you there?
See, that's Cuyahoga County.
Who sent you there?
Judge Vaudry.
For what?
I was caught with a little bit of fentanyl and some needles and stuff.
Fentanyl?
Like the pills, like the
What was that RTA stuff all about?
Me and my girlfriend was in an argument, and
Hi, Cloud.
my girlfriend was in an argument.
And what happened?
I kind of threatened the RTA driver.
What do you mean, kind of threatened the RTA driver?
Me and my girlfriend was arguing, and she tried to kind of get in the middle of it, and I kind of like told her like, mind your business. I'll beat you up. Da, da, da. And one thing led to another, and they called the transit police on me.
Why would you give the RTA driver a rash of shit if that's her job, to drive the bus without people getting in fights? Why is that her fault? Why would you threaten her?
It wasn't her fault. I was high. I was off 3-4 fentanyl pills. And
what are you doing taking fentanyl? I thought you had a cocaine problem.
Right.
You got a fentanyl problem too?
By this time, I was on the run, and I was on the run for 2 years. I was kind of doing anything I can get my hands on.
Okay. You were on the run from here too.
From
right?
here.
Okay.
In which,
So Mr. Fatika started this saying you wanted treatment. And I
Yes.
said, well, why didn't you get treatment? Well, because you didn't want to get treatment.
I
You
did
were running
want
around.
treatment. No, I'm talking about since I went to the McDonald Center, since I did the treatment program, since I went to McDonald
Not with this judge, you don't.
Center, I had a whole different aspect. I got a sponsor and everything. I just talked to my probation officer in Cuyahoga County yesterday. I'm already was enrolled in the IOP stuff out there, which I was going to be starting the day after I got here.
I don't know what's going on with you. You got a horrific juvenile record, right?
Yes.
Which landed you in DYS for a period of time. Did you get out when you were 21?
Yes.
And then you pick up this one, your first one.
I just want to change. I want treatment now because I've got a baby on the way and everything. I just want to be there for her. My first baby, my girl's first baby, and everything.
What happened, Mr. Randazzo, on that RTA bus?
The defendant was pushing on the doors, threatening to get out, threatening the bus driver. He then took off. He was found to have a 9mm on his possession as well as fentanyl.
Your violation here, or your charge here, one of them was having weapon under disability, right?
Yes.
All right. So obviously this case didn't change your habits or your attitude, because now you got a gun in the RTA case.
Yes. Like I said, I was off fentanyl, I was off cocaine, off everything.
The point of putting you on probation in November of 21 with such a horrific, violent juvenile record was to see if you would straighten out. And that didn't work because all you did was take off and disappear and commit other crimes. So this isn't working. Anything else you want to say?
Yes, I'd just like to say that again, to how much I've learned from being in CBCF and being in the trail treatment program, as well as far as when I tested positive for the cocaine last time, I ran, I didn't come back, as well as this time. Well, I know I messed up and I came right in. I didn't have to get no warrant out. I called Mr. Tompkins, told him I was coming in just like I do every time. I came in and me and him was talking about me getting the treatment. I already on board with my Cleveland probation officer, still on board with her. As soon as I'll be able to get out, I'll be able to start my IOP, my treatment and everything.
Okay. Well, the time for that was a long time ago. And not so long ago, like 2 months ago. Today's May 15th. You got out of jail on March 15th after 15 days, and I told you to go to more counseling. And your response to that was to smoke pot because it was your
No,
birthday.
Mom. Sorry.
Okay. So I reviewed the pre-sentence report again. I reviewed the drug and alcohol evaluation again. And I've considered the entire record in this case. I've considered what you have had to say, what Mr. Fatika has had to say, what probation has had to say. And clearly, you're not amenable to community control anymore. So I'm going to terminate your community control. On count one, I'm going to sentence you to 36 months in prison. On count two, 18 months in prison. Those sentences will be concurrent to one another. How many days, Ms. Randazzo?
140, Your Honor.
With credit for 140 days that you've served, and the cost will be assessed. When you get out, you might be on post-release control for up to 2 years under the parole authority with conditions. If you violate the conditions, the parole authority could return you to prison for up to 9 months for each violation, up to 1/2 of my sentence. If that violation is a new felony, you could get an additional consecutive prison sentence for the violation, the maximum of which would be the greater of 12 months or the time you have left under your post-release control. Anything further, Mr. Fatika?
No, thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, we're adjourned.
All right.
Yep. Judge had enough of him. Judge had enough of him. He's going away. For smoking marijuana 1 week after he started probation. That's not why he's going away. He's not going away for smoking marijuana. He's going away for carrying a gun on a bus and threatening a bus driver and then having fentanyl and dropping dirty cocaine tests and everything else. Yes, Mike, the judge is like, enough is enough. Well, you know, you live and you learn, Rebecca. That's called a life lesson. Good job, Cloud. Good job. All right, we're going to stay in this courtroom for one more. We have one more clip total, and it's in here. Here we go.
Can I bring
Failed to report June 20th of 23 and ever since then. Is that the?
Oh, please let me be your lawyer. Please, please. I can do this. Listen, I've watched a couple court videos, so I think I can do this. I got you. Rebecca, I got you. And you know what? There may or may not be a taser involved in our court, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Only one, Craig?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. You understand the charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fatika?
Good morning, Your Honor. I've discussed this matter with Mr. McElrain. I anticipate that he'll waive his final hearing, accept responsibility for his misconduct. We'd like to resolve the violation today.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's your plea to the violation?
Guilty.
All right, I'll accept your guilty plea and find you guilty. Tika?
Mr. McElrain has been struggling with an opioid addiction for quite some time. There are also some mental health issues. He's been in and out of treatment. I think his most recent was recovery, Highland Springs and Warrensville. He's been taking Sublocade injections since September of 23. We're appreciative of him being allowed to continue with those shots from the Lake County Jail over the course of the last 2 months. He's linked with Signature Health. We'd ask the court to consider continuing him on probation with inpatient treatment.
I got to see if anyone is as old as me when you're talking about free chat programs. Ready? All right. I'm throwing a trout at Rebecca B. No, I'm sorry. I'm slapping Rebecca B with a trout. I am slapping Rebecca B with a trout. Hey, Bossy got it.
My discussions with Mr. McElrain, I've emphasized that he needs to be more conscientious and abide by the rules and regulations of probation if he's given another chance.
What's the 180 program? Any idea?
The what program, Your Honor?
180.
That was when I was living in Worcester, Ohio.
Okay.
I am currently not living there no more.
Okay. Where you been?
At my mom's house.
Why haven't you been showing up at probation for the last 11 months?
Do you want me to stand, Your Honor?
No.
Well, I was living in Worcester. I could just kind of give you a timeline on what happened. I was living in Worcester, where I was struggling with holding responsibilities of working and trying to maintain, I guess, support out there. It was just, I don't know, I wasn't happy. And then when I finally came back home, I relapsed back in late May or June of last year.
You were here on April 27th.
Yes.
Did you go to the 180 program?
When I was living in Worcester, I did.
Okay. And what was that program?
That was just like a Signature Health down there.
Okay.
But wasn't.
Did you complete it?
That wasn't really a program. That was just more of like complying with my Suboxone then down there.
What's the Suboxone for?
My opiate dependence.
Okay. And were you taking Suboxone then?
Yes.
When did you stop taking it?
I never really necessarily stopped. It was just kind of intermittent when I relapsed.
Isn't the point of Suboxone to avoid taking heroin and fentanyl?
Yes.
Okay. So when you took the heroin and or fentanyl, did you get sick because of the Suboxone?
No.
What's the point of the Suboxone?
Cravings, to help with cravings.
Okay. Doesn't work, right? Isn't Mr. Berry, isn't the theory on all this Suboxone, Vivitrol, and all that other crap, that if you take the drug while you're on those things, that you'll get sick? Isn't that the theory on this stuff?
Well, Suboxone is a daily, so if you don't take it that day, it's out of your system and you're back to ground zero. So
Okay,
he needs to take it daily in order for the effects of the Suboxone to work.
okay. So in the further theory on Suboxone is if you're on it, you stop taking it, that supposedly the withdrawals are worse than heroin withdrawals. Is that right? Is that
Yes.
what you've heard? No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Mr. Berry.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So when did you leave Worcester?
In May of
Okay.
2023.
All right. Where else did you go?
Just my mom's
Where?
in Euclid, Ohio.
Okay. What's this place in Columbus, Craig?
I'm not familiar with this place in Columbus, Your Honor.
What's the name of it?
Don't have that with me right here, but I know he called me and said, hey, I'm in Columbus, I'm in a treatment center. That's all I know.
Where in Columbus in a treatment center were you?
Recovery Village.
Okay, why didn't you just tell me that? You said you left Worcester and went to Euclid.
I was trying to explain a timeline because I didn't go right in May. I went after I went, because then I went to Laurelwood for went to Highland Springs after Laurelwood, and they recommended me to go to Recovery Village. So from June to late September, I was there and completed their program.
How do I know that?
I have a certificate at home.
They won't respond to us with records. How do I even know you went there? They were made aware that you had a felony warrant and were told to notify us when you were leaving, and they refused to do it. How do I know you were there? How do I know what the treatment was? How do I know you completed anything? How do I know you just didn't get up and leave? Problem is, we don't know any of this stuff because you didn't show up for the last 11 months. So I have no way to verify what you're telling me. So you're telling me you completed that?
I did.
Okay. So after you completed that, did you call Mr. Berry and tell him, I'm done?
I did
I'm
not.
back home? Why not?
Because my grandma was sick and on hospice, and I was afraid to turn myself in and end up spending time in jail. And my grandmother passed away while I was in the Lake County Jail.
Okay, when did your grandmother pass away?
In December.
Okay. Did you call Mr. Berry after that and said, I'm ready to get right with you?
No.
Why not?
Because I was mental health and just making excuses and just being scared.
Okay. So we've been screwing around with this for 4 years now. Why have we been screwing around with this for 4 years?
I've always had my ups and downs, and I've had periods of where I succeeded, and then I've hit a brick wall, and I keep moving forward. I don't know.
Well, I can't. How can I believe anything that you tell me when you haven't been here for 11 months?
And I completely understand why you can't believe me. I took away that trust but I mean, all I can do is say what happened and why it happened, and I'm trying to just take responsibility of that now.
Well, if you're not taking responsibility for anything. If you were taking responsibility for things, then you would complete what you're supposed to do and show up. That's what you would do. Now, what's this Sublocade thing?
That takes away the daily part of the Suboxone.
How often do you take that?
It's once a month or every 4 weeks.
And when's the last time you took it?
A week ago,
What about
Tuesday.
before that?
A month before that.
Who's giving you Sublocade?
Dr. Goldfarb, in Solon,
Where?
Ohio. Solon, Ohio.
Who's he?
He's just an independent private doctor.
You know anything about Goldfarb with relation to Mr. McElrain?
I do not, other than the furloughs requesting it.
So when did you start with Goldfarb?
I've been with him on and off since 2017 or 18. But there was
So you were,
lapse
how long you been getting this shot from Goldfarb?
since since I left Recovery Village.
Since you left Recovery Village in what you say is October?
Late September.
Okay, so you've been getting monthly Goldfarb shots?
Yes.
Okay. And what have you used during that time?
I relapsed in January 8th with crack cocaine, and it was I had a mental health where I was suicidal, and there was a suicide attempt, and I was in Highland Springs.
And you were in Highland Springs when?
In January and March.
What do we got on that, Craig?
I don't have any, well, that's the information I received saying that he was at Highland Springs, and that's where I picked him up in March.
Okay. So what effect did the Sublocade have on the crack cocaine use?
Nothing.
Why did you use the crack cocaine?
Just an addiction. I really don't have an answer for that, just because
Okay, when are you going to find the answer? Okay.
it was my addiction.
I know. 95% of the cases that come in here have to do with drugs. 94% of them are due to drug addictions. Okay? So you told me at the beginning of this hearing that you were taking responsibility. You haven't in 4 years taken responsibility for anything. If you did, you wouldn't be sitting here after disappearing for 11 and a half months. You won't take responsibility. You won't take responsibility for your drug use. You won't take responsibility for your mental health condition. What is your mental health diagnosis?
Bipolar and PTSD.
Okay. Who diagnosed you with bipolar and PTSD?
This has been since I've been 15 years old. I mean,
Okay.
multiple doctors.
And
Laurelwood,
what's the last time you were treated for bipolar disorder?
Highland Springs, in March.
Okay. What about before that?
In January, when I had the attempted suicide.
Okay. Who in these multiple years has prescribed medication for your bipolar disorder? Which doctor?
Highland Springs and Dr. Goldfarb.
Dr. Goldfarb is a psychiatrist?
He's
alcohol abuse.
An addiction doctor that I don't really know what his actual.
Who's the last person, who's the last doctor?
Dr. Goldfarb.
That treated you for bipolar disorder?
Dr. Goldfarb.
And what was that treatment? What did that entail?
Just continue medication.
What medication?
Lexapro, Depakote, Clonidine, Zyprexa, and gabapentin, and that's it.
Are you aware of any of this, Mr. Berry?
I'm not, Your Honor.
So when's the last time you took the Lexapro?
Well, it would be this morning in the Lake County Jail, but I haven't. It would be yesterday.
Do we have any idea whether he's taken psych meds in jail?
We do. He is taking the psych meds in jail.
What's he taking?
I don't have that list in front of me, but he is being seen by Dr. Sanders.
See, it'd be really nice to know this shit at the time of sentencing you, wouldn't it? Since I can't rely on you to be the least bit valid in your history of things.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the reason that you're not reliable is because you haven't been around since the beginning of June of last year. So I'm supposed to keep somebody on probation who just doesn't bother showing up to probation? Am I supposed to do that? Why in the world would I do that?
Because
What?
I can't keep doing this anymore. I
Well,
can't.
but you keep doing it.
I know.
You tell me you can't
That's
keep
what I
doing
thought
it, but you
too.
keep doing it. There's no logic in that. Who's the last doctor that prescribed you Lexapro or Depakote?
Dr. Goldfarb.
Okay. You ever heard of this Goldfarb?
I'm not.
Got a whole bunch of
I think
people
he was
you may or
in
may not
a
have
James
gone to
Bond movie,
at
Dr.
various
Goldfarb.
times. And because you don't show up, I have no idea what's true and what's false. So I assume everything's false because everybody lies to me.
I've been taking him and I've been buying all of his meds. He's been with me. He has not driven his car since I picked him up in Columbus because I knew that his license was probably suspended. So I drove down with my husband to pick him up from Columbus and drove his car back home where it sat, and we parked it. And he was not to drive it. His keys were taken. He was with me taking care of my mother until she passed. Then his Medicaid was dropped. So I was paying for his medication out of pocket until we got his Medicaid reinstated. He was very good up until my mother passed. Then January hit, which is the anniversary of my daughter's death, which is very hard on him, which threw him into the suicide, which put him back in, I put a hold on him, which put him into, they put him into that Marymount, then to Highland Springs. Then he was home for a couple more weeks, which put him back into Highland Springs, which I found him again, which put him back into Highland Springs, which I said, you're staying there until they pick him up. But I've been taking him to Dr. Goldfarb and paying for his visits. I've been picking up all of his meds and bringing them to the county. When he was in Columbus, it's the happiest I have ever seen him. He cried when he had to leave. It was the most stable I have ever seen. The nurse cried. She didn't want him to leave. He was in charge of the floor. He was responsible. If there was a place where this boy can go, getting treatment on an ongoing basis, getting his meds on an ongoing basis, I wish he could live there. Because that's the only time I've seen him. In 20 years, I've been dealing with his addiction. And I wish he could live in a rehab facility. And him. But there's no place like that. He wanted to go back to Recovery Village, but Medicaid wouldn't take him at the time. And it threw him for a loop. He loved that place. The nurses loved him. And I said, can he live here? And she's like, he can come back and work here. He excels in places like that. Being with people like him, working with people like him.
Yes, he's a very sick boy. He is. But he's only a danger to himself. When he was at my house, he would do nothing but sit in his room. That's his problem. He isolates. He doesn't talk to the family. It's a gradual progression. He's not out running the streets. He's sick. Yes, he's got a lot of demons he has not worked out. And that's what gets in his head.
So when are you going to start dealing with this stuff?
I want to start right now. Start since I've been in the jail.
Okay, so why didn't you start it 4 years ago? You don't know?
I've had periods where I had 3.5 years where I was doing great, had a good job, and then it's like once I stop rolling and I get into this funk, I just crash and burn and self-destruct.
Don't you think you need to find out why you get in the funk and find out how to avoid getting in the funk so that you don't crash and burn? Because how old are you now?
35.
Okay, how long is this going to go on? I mean, it sounds like you've been torturing your mother for upwards of 20 years. So how long is that going to continue?
That's why I have suicidal attempts and suicidal thoughts, because I just beat myself up.
Well, but for you just told me for 3.5 years you would hold it together.
Because I would have like a
maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Huh?
I would have a structure.
Okay. You can't. The structure that exists at wherever place you like being, okay, can't go on forever. You have to figure out how to obtain a similar structure on the outside, because you can't live there forever. And unless you figure out how to do that, then it's never going to happen. Now, in order to figure out how to do that, you got to put the work in to do it. In the excuse, look, I don't accept the excuse that I'm an addict and there's nothing I can do about it. Because I've had people that had horrible heroin addictions that have stopped using heroin for a long time. You haven't been invested in what you need to do. That's the problem. You haven't taken the time and effort to invest yourself in what you have to do to figure out why you're okay for a period of time and then why you go into a funk. And I don't know that you're ever going to do that. Because don't tell me you're taking responsibility for something when you haven't taken responsibility for anything. If you took responsibility for it, you wouldn't be sitting here right now. It's an absence of responsibility to stop showing up.
No, but I have mayonnaise. It's fine.
Now, that begs the question once again, how can I keep somebody on probation that doesn't show up? Now, on the one hand, okay, you're not like the last guy that was in here that's out threatening RTA drivers with a gun, okay? You're not like that. So your mother's right. You're not a danger to other people out there. But you got to decide how you want to live your life in this perpetual funk that you won't get out of, because once again, you're not invested in doing what you have to do to get out of it. And the byproduct of that is you're torturing your mother on a daily basis. So I want, before I sentence you, records from all these things we talked about, Craig. The place in Worcester, the places in Columbus, this Goldfarb character, your treatment for your mental health over the years. So I want to sentence you with all the information I need. Now, you may end up going to prison anyway, but at least I'll know what I'm dealing with, because when people don't show up, then invariably I have no idea what I'm dealing with. And I don't believe what they're telling me. And they go to prison. So you may or may not have a reprieve here. But whatever I do with you, at some point you have to take responsibility for you. And as I look at you, I think this entire half hour has had zero impact on you.
Well, it has a lot of impact on me.
Well, I don't know that, okay? I don't know that.
I know what I want to do.
I mean, what I do know is since you've been coming around here in 20, October of 20, I've had zero impact on you. Zero. So I don't know if you don't, there's one of two things. You don't listen to what I say, therefore you don't comply, or you don't care what I say, and therefore you don't comply. So let's get the information, we'll come back.
All rise.
So I think that this guy actually does have those records. I think that he's not lying. I don't know. I have no idea. No one knows. Um, well, his mom seemed to have backed him up a bit, and I know that's what mothers do. But I think he's going to be able to give that stuff, and I think he's not going to jail. And I think the only reason he's not going to jail is because the mother said the words, "He's only a danger to himself and no one else." Um, but I don't know. 'Cause the judge even said it too. The judge said, "You're not like the last guy who was threatening a bus driver with a gun. You know, you are just for yourself. You're just hurting yourself and torturing your mother." So that's what I think. I don't know. We don't know. The judge doesn't say when he's going to come back. Oh, legal. Should I start at the beginning for legal fiction? Legal fiction. Guess what? It's Kelly's birthday. Everybody wish Kelly Fitz a happy birthday today in comments. But it's over. It's over now. We had fun, but it's got to end. I got to work a double today. I worked a double yesterday. I'm going to go to sleep and hopefully I wake up in time today since I didn't yesterday. I like having Joey in our chat to keep us straight on all these drugs. Joey, you're my favorite drug dealer now because you know. you know what's going on. Iowa, it's nice to see you again. Double the shifts, cha, double the income. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, I don't mind double shifts. I would rather work 2 shifts in one day than 2 days in a row because, I'm already there. So, um, most likely, Mark. Hi, Mark. No, today's Sunday. Today's Sunday. Today's Sunday. There's no Fleischer today. More money, more money. My money doesn't fold, it jingle jingles. I bet you do, legal. I bet you do know some of those drugs. So, for all you lurkers, again, thank you so much for lurking. We appreciate it. Never be scared to come into chat, especially if you're saying something like, "No, Fozzie, I think you're wrong." I don't know when we're gonna see Fleischer again, guys. I just don't know. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe they're dealing with, no power. I, I don't know. I don't know if Melissa is feeling better, but I think court was closed on Friday, so she had a lot of rest time. So I hope she's feeling better, and I hope CRD is doing well in the hotel room. We miss CRD a lot. It's not the same. It's just not the same. Okay. Kelly just said that Houston got the lights back today. And then now that she said, go wish her a happy birthday because she said that. Thanks, Mel. Thanks for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Rebecca, see you later. Fozzie is never wrong. Yeah, we do miss our Texans. That's true. All right. Now, I'm going to just stop talking and sit here for, I don't know, 15 minutes, 15 seconds or so that the chat catches up and I don't get cut off right in the middle of a sentence. So, goodbye, guys. Behave. Behave. I'll see you again soon.